Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I want to talk about flipping, and I want to show you what I've been able to achieve so far by flipping some of the region-wide commodities and materials. So just before I start, of course, I just want to highlight the fact that flipping is always risky, but especially flipping all these different region-wide materials and commodities, simply because so many people are interacting with these different markets, and so many people are always posting new auctions and trying to undercut until they get some sales. So most of the time when you try to reset some of these markets or when you try to invest, it's very tricky and very difficult to actually know what will happen in 1 or 2 days from now or 1 or 2 months from now. But also it's very difficult to just reset instantly the market and have the prices just stay at the price that you set. So just something that you want to keep in mind. Also, of course, if you want to do this type of flips, you will need a lot of gold initially just to invest in all these different items, and also always keep in mind you are taking the risk of losing a lot of gold in the process. So this is really something I want to make sure you understand before I dive into this topic and I start explaining what I've been able to do and how I've been able to do it. Just to keep in mind, it's very risky, and if you're trying, you might lose a lot of gold. But of course, you then will always hear stories of people who are going to tell you that they made gold caps after gold caps doing this type of flip, and it's possible, as I'm going to show you with the video today. But again, it's very difficult, and it's only a few people who sometimes get lucky and are able to do these very nice profits. But most of the time, these people probably don't tell you how much gold they also lost by trying to do all these different flips. So just something I wanted to say before I start diving into this video. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos where I went through the list of all the best items to invest in right now from Dragonflight, I mentioned that all these different region-wide commodities and materials could be very, very interesting to invest in. And again, what I'm going to show you is really some of my best results so far, but keep in mind that I also had to try over markets, and unfortunately I also lost a lot of gold in the process. So of course, right now I'm going to show you the successful ones, but I really had also a couple of ones where I lost a couple of millions gold. So just something to keep in mind. But basically, the ones I really tried to focus on were all the different awakened materials. These ones are extremely good and they sell extremely fast. So when you reset the market, most of the time, if you are after that for maybe 1 2 hour, always posting, undercutting, you might be able to sell them for a pretty high value. But also what you can do, and this is what I'm going to show you just now, in some cases you can just invest in some of these when the market is very, very low, and then just hold on to these items and wait for maybe at some point in the future the value to increase again, and then you can sell them back. This is what I did with one of them, and I will show you how it worked exactly. So as you can see, I did it with most of these different materials and I got some different type of results. For instance, here the Awakened Frost, as you can see, I was able to make 3 million gold of profit flipping 28,000 of these, so that was pretty good. Then with the Awakened Earth, I was able to make also around 2 million gold profit, which was really nice as well. And then the Awakened Air, here I was able to only make 1,200,000, which is still good, but again, it requires a lot of efforts and also you're taking a lot of risks. Still a nice profit overall. And then more recently, I decided to invest in the Awakened Fire because they were extremely cheap for a long period of time and they were a lot up on the auction house. So I just decided to buy a few and try to see when the market will finally have an increase. And it actually happened after 2 weeks. And so as you can see, I bought in total for 5 million gold worth of these Awakened Fire. And then when it comes to the rising ones, I invested also a good 3,800,000 gold in the rising fire. So in total, keep in mind, I invested 8,800,000 gold in these two markets. And then right now, as you can see, I've been able to sell all of them for 17,333,000 gold. And this is really, really good. So it means that in total, I made around 9 million or a little bit less than 9 million profits. So it's really, really good. And as you can see, I sold everything in maybe a 2 days time frame. So it was really quick for me to sell everything. As soon as the value increased, I just jumped on my character and started to like post everything, undercut, post, undercut, because sometimes the market will have a like just high and then it will go back to their initial price, and so you really want to jump on this type of occasions. So yeah, now that I got all the gold, as you can see, it's 5 million gold invested and 10 million gold in total that I've been able to sell. Actually, for some reasons, I sold less of these than the ones I bought. And then for the Rosing Fire, it's gonna be the same, 3 million 8 and 7 million 6. So overall, I've been very, very lucky and I've been able to make a lot of gold. But again, keep in mind, sometimes, unfortunately, you cannot predict what will happen or not. And so, like, sometimes, unfortunately, you will just end up losing gold. Also, one thing that was very interesting at some point was what happened for me with the Awakened Earth. So basically, I bought all of them and I tried to resell them very, very fast. But that was a big mistake because a few days after I sold all of them for like 25 gold each profit, the market exploded and they went to 800 gold each or something like that. So when I made the like basically the simple calculation, I could have made probably around like 30 million profit if I had just waited 2 or 3 more days, which is really insane. It really goes to show you sometimes you unfortunately cannot predict the market and you will have to decide whether you want to keep it or try to wait or maybe try to sell it as soon as possible. So I just wanted to make this video to show you very quickly what I've been able again to achieve with all these different materials. And again, this is something you can do also maybe on a like smaller scale. Sometimes you can just buy, if you see that they're very cheap and there is not a lot, like right now, for instance, the Awakened Fire, as you can see, there is not a lot. You can just like decide to buy maybe like a few and then resell them in 1 or 2 hours after that when the value increase. So it's really up to you to see what you want to do. But if you have a lot of gold, you can also, of course, try to do these big flip that, again, that are very risky. But as you can see, that sometimes can reward you with a lot of gold. So that's pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you will enjoy. Again, this is not really a gold guide per se, because this is again a technique that is very difficult to replicate and it's also very risky. Even if you're trying to do it on a lower scale, it will still be a little bit risky. But I feel like it's interesting to just make videos about these different ways that people find in order to make a lot of gold in World of Warcraft. So maybe sometimes you can have some ideas and then try some of these techniques. So anyway, I will be back very soon with more guides and more videos. And in the meantime, I wish you all a great Saturday. Bye!